were talking about her. We were talking about her music and just generally how inspirational she's been to me on a personal level.
And also the fact that she's launching her daughter in films as well. She's also she just made a comeback in Mom last year, and she's making another film as well. And it's just shocking.
It was just, we were kind of like, okay, this has not really happened.
Now, I grew up partly in Nigeria, and in Nigeria, Bollywood is huge. And I was just having a look at Nigerian Twitter, and people are talking about this because she was such a huge star.
I mean, SRIDEVI started off at the age of 4 as a child artist. She made her debut as a heroine at 13, and then she made her Bollywood debut with a film called Solva Sabin, which flopped. I recommend that film.
That film I've seen, and it's a very funny film.
Indeed.
It is hilarious.
But you feel for her in it.
You do feel for her. Something which you mentioned, curiously, Pablo, was you talked about her music as well. So it's not just about film, it's about the music that transcends film.
You know what, I have to say, as a child, as I was growing up, in terms of the liberation she gave, in terms of when she was dancing, in terms of how she transcended any of the playback singers who were singing for her.
I mean, she could be Campus Christmas, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And then she could be a tragedy, and she could be a hero. She could beat all the villains.
But she was always happy.
Yes.
Always happy.
What was she like off screen? Because you guys spoke to her a few times.
She, very many times, both for interviews and, at parties, we hung out and all the rest of it. She was one of the most reserved, reticent Bollywood stars.
Very shy.
Very private.
She was very private. She was never kind of, oh, I'm pushing myself, I'm like this. She was always eloquent, very kind of grateful.
And very erudite, very well read as well.
Yeah.
I mean, people didn't see, they saw this chambak chalo girl, but she wasn't. She was very kind of like quiet, reserved, and very intelligent.
There's one thing I'll never forget. Every time we met her, at the end of every interview, she'd touch her heart and go, thank you, and I'm fine.
You know, the other thing about her, which always surprised us, she always asked about her families. She knew, like my nephew, my niece, your family as well. She remembered, and this is a global superstar. We were humbled.
So, in a sense, she cared.
She did. She didn't talk to many people, but when she did, she opened. And one of her closest friends at the moment, was Shilpa Shetty, and she's shocked as well. I mean, everybody in the industry is shocked. It's like, how? Why? At this young age.
I mean, it's amazing. I was having a look at the tributes, and they're just, it's incredible. I mean, what have people been saying?
I mean, people are just like, she was in glowing health. I mean, it's a big Bollywood wedding that was happening in Dubai, of all places. She was there. January, she was at Lakme Fashion Week with her daughter.
Exactly, I was going to say, with her daughter, who she's been promoting, who she's launching who she was launching in movies, and her husband. But she was at a big Bollywood wedding where all the other Bollywood stars were.
Her husband is Boney Kapoor, who's one of the stalwarts of the industry.
Yeah, he's come from a big Bollywood family.
Bollywood. I mean, many of our viewers will know Anil Kapoor from that's her brother-in-law, Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah.
I'm actually in shock at the moment. We're like complete. Our phones have not stopped. People have been messaging in the sense of how, why.
It's kind of like...
It's a heart attack.
And when you've spent time with SRIDEVI, you spent time with Boney, we've kind of hung out with him and all the rest of it and talked. And he's kind of talked about how he is so proud of his wife. Your heart goes out. You kind of think, what must the family be going through?
And then, growing up and watching her, and then watching her on the screen, she just lights up the screen, mesmerising. Do you watch English for English? Do you recommend?
Okay. She made so many people so happy.
Rest in peace, SRIDEVI, indeed.